guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. I'm serious, dude. You never heard of booby glue? Really? Man, they got the other thing called nipple tape, dude. It works great to hold the boobies on the strippers, like inside the bikini top. I mean, you learn about these things when you're working in a strip club or managing a strip club. You'd be amazed what those girls do to themselves. And then there's a reason they run when the door opens and actually white light comes into the club versus the black light they're dancing underneath. It's like they go looking from like an 8 or a 9 to, oh God, let's drag it out back and throw it behind a dumpster and, oh, put it out of its misery. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyhow, let me shoot this segment real quick. I'll call you guys back. Bye. Gentlemen, ladies, and fine doll hairs amongst all of you. Yes, I have worked at a strip club. Yes, I've managed a strip club. No, I don't choose to do that anymore. And yeah, I know all the dirty little secrets. It's all fun. This is a Texas Star 1200. This is called a hot plate. This gentleman sent it to me. He said he noticed the power was falling off and that it was wired this way when he got it. I did a hard physical delete on this fuse or this breaker for a reason. You'll see why here in a second. This is good stuff. I can't even make this up. Look at that. Isn't that scooching pretty? I mean, that gets me going in the nipply range myself. I'm very impressed with that because it's not even frayed out or anything. That's craftsmanship at its finest. Now, he says to me it was shipped in that way. I'm like, that's cool. We're not going to judge. I just took my dikes and I lopped it right off the back end of this box because we're going to replace all of it anyhow. So he says the power fell off on it. And he don't know why. I said, that's cool. Send it here to Big Daddy BBI and we'll figure it out. So here it is. Been here for 7 months or better. Ready to look at it? Let's go in here and pop it open and find out what we got going down in a world of sound. Find out which fan kit's on this thing. If it's got the ones that got real fans on it, or if it's got the new ones that cost $200 and some. And the fans are so weak that my dog farting, my little 2-year-old puppy, when he farts, passes more air. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, she's an old girl. That's good. It's got Toshiba's. It's got Toshiba's in it, and he's definitely got one bad pill. How do we know this? Because the magic 10 ohm smoke has disappeared from that resistor right there. It's gone. It's no longer in a box. So, do we have any 10 ohm smoke damage on this thing? No, we don't. Oh, these are JMCs. Oh, these fans move. They move some air. Those work. So, what happened here? It's an aftermarket fuse. Okay, so all we gotta do is replace one transistor. 12290, that is. I'm sorry, I think I said it had 2879s in it. Replace one transistor, do the power wire upgrade to it, and okay. Should probably pull both of those out. Let's pull both of these out and test them. We're going to have to rebuild this combiner and rebuild this resistor, which is burnt. Just replace that resistor, replace this resistor, rebuild these resistors, and then redo the power wires, which were all been diked or bumped up against two with a soldering iron. Got a burn mark here, another burn mark through here. I don't know what is going on here, but we'll find out together, you and me. we will. My friend was just asking me what his, he's working on a radio, and he was asking the guy that owned the radio what the traces on the radio were being held down with because they were so stuck. And I said, what, booby glue? He's like, what's booby glue? That's what you guys caught. All right, well, give me about an hour and we'll get this thing fixed. Maybe 2. So give me a minute. We shall return. Okay, it's time to get serious now here. Okay, so what I did is I went in and let's zoom in here for a second. So I zoomed in and I'm showing you that I went in and I pulled both the transistors out of here. That one came out of that hole. That one came out of that hole. There's a small problem. Both of these are toast. They're both dead. So usually when this presents itself in this manner, it usually means that all the other transistors, the amp was run until it's gone all the way to ground. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and pull this transistor here. So I pulled this one out of the way, and it comes up with a fairly decent beta gain to it. So let's test this sucker real quick. It's got a gain of 31 on it. These two poor little Toshiba soldiers are dead. So I'm going to go get into my bag of tricks. We got to be really careful what we choose to do with Toshibas now. They're getting pretty thin. So let me go get into my bag of tricks and see if I've got a couple 2290s laying around here that we can put in here to revive this thing. If not, we'll pull all 8 of the transistors out and we'll put HGs in here and double his power output. But let me see. I'm pretty sure I got a couple 2290s in here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do all the other mods to it and get it up and running, and then we'll go from there. So give me another minute or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 minutes. You know how this goes. It takes a couple minutes to do these wonderful things. And we'll get it squared away. I had my buddy come over yesterday. We hung out. We had a great time. One of the things that we did was we sat around and we watched the video about how to build your own radio DAW key. And he goes, man, that was an amazing video. The problem is I did this the entire video apparently. He goes, man, it just about made me motion sick. So like, fine, I'll use the tripod more. I apologize. So Mr. P, this whole tripoded video, it's for you. All right, brother. So what we did is we went through, we replaced your power wire. Now I put the same length power wire that you had on there for the most part, except I took out your breaker. Now this is a 100 amp breaker. You want to go to a 200 amp breaker. I'm telling you. And you're going to want to put the breaker somewhere very close to the battery, not at the back of the amplifier. It's the wrong place for this. Very close to the battery, as close to the battery as you can get it. So I'm going to send this back because I have no need for it. But what we also did is I put hydraulically crimped and heat shrinked ends on it that are soldered. Okay? Now the ends that were on this were soldered, but they weren't soldered very well. So we went ahead and we gave you good solid copper eyelets, and we hydraulically crimped them. Now the other thing we did is we did the power distribution bus in the back. What was on there was just very hinkily put together. This is going to last. This is made with thick copper that's been soldered, and it's got dual power wires instead of singular power wires. We went ahead and we installed a grommet here, not a strain relief. We braided it to keep it nice and neat. And we also did dual grounds where we bring the ground to here in the chassis and bring the ground back to here on the chassis. That way we don't have this cross drain effect where these transistors are getting less current than these. Okay. The other thing I did, and let me explain to you why your amplifier failed. It looks pretty now and it's clean. And the reason it looks pretty now and clean is because I took and I washed it, and I washed all the boiled up, melted down flux off the board. What causes that? The amp gets incredibly hot is what causes that. And so the flux starts to cook out all the solder that's on the board. Now, You said, but BBI, it's got a fan kit on it. It sure does. This little guy right here. See this little guy right here? Look at how this is mounted. It's not mounted to the heatsink. It's mounted to an insulated piece of phenolic. So this board has to get so hot, the actual traces itself has to get so hot that this device gets over about, I think, 190 degrees. And it trips out. This thing is a melting brick by the time that happens. There's a bunch of air gap between this phenolic and where this thing is mounted. Then there's the axial insulation of the phenolic. So now what I did like on the second generation Sweet 16s is that they mounted it on the wall, this particular device. The thermal couple temperature trip thyristor relay thingy hickamajiggy. That's his technical term, thingamajig hickamajiggy. You guys quote me on that. That's thermocouple. With a cutout or cut in at 190, cutout at 125. So I don't like this particular setup. It leads to a lot of failures. So what we did is we disconnected from here. We widened the shot out. We extended the wire. And we brought it over to the on-off switch. This is a huge pro. By turning the amplifier on, you are automatically cutting on your fans. So that means the amp isn't going to be pre-soaked with heat. It's going to be chilled as you're going into operation. I'm an on, amp on, fan on kind of guy. That's the way it's coming back to you. What we did is we took the 3 amp fuse that's here and we went to a 5 amp fuse. Okay? So if you ever need to get in here and replace it, 5 amp fuse. The other thing that makes this really interesting, and you got to remember, you have to remember this, that the amplifier must be off for you to disconnect the fans. Otherwise, there's 12 volt current going back to this plug, and when you disconnect the plug, it's going to short it to ground and it'll pop the fuse. So amp has to be off for you to disconnect the fans. It's the only disadvantage. There's going to be people who say, but what if the amplifier you're running it in, it's hot, you just leave it on for a couple more minutes. And the amp can never get as hot as it would with this device in play, because you're already beating it to the game. As the heat is trying to saturate into the heat sink and into the components, you're already killing it and scrubbing it with the fans. So that's the way that is. We went through and we replaced your combiner resistors here, and we replaced the burned up combiner resistor here. So this is all like new. Scrubbed all the flux off this thing, cleaned up the faceplate a little bit for you, and Bob's your uncle. So let's go ahead and scrooch on up here. Let's go take a look at our meters. All right. This is a 1,000 watt slug in PEP, 1,000 watt slug in average, and a 5 watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. Amplifier's off. We're running at 14 volts right now. Hello. There's our 20 some watts of drive. Check this out. Hello. Yeah, that's 700 watts with 20 watts of drive. Hello. 700 watts with 20 watts of drive. Let's go up here. Take ourselves a look at the input tune. Hello. Audio. It's about a whole whopping half a watt and maybe 3/4 of a watt of reflect on the input tune. As a Texas Star, that's where you want to tune them. Because remember, then you're going to have a 3-foot jumper and then the 1-pill modulator, or you're going to have like a 100 watt radio drive in it. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and widen back out again. I got to work on my camera work. I've been getting so busy with stuff lately that it's just I want to jam through the video so I can get on to the next project, so I can get the next guy taken care of, so I can get on to the next project, so I can get the next guy taken care of, so I can get on to the next project, so I can get the next guy taken care of. And I've been getting a little bumbly with the videos. I'm sorry. My apologies. We will clean up the camera work. Okay, so with the 955 now attached, as you can clearly see here, we're on 14 volts. Let's go ahead and tighten back up again. All right. We'll shut the 1200 hot plate off. There's our whopping 80, 90 watts of drive. Now this needle is going to disappear into the corner. Why has I got my dead key so high? 1,000 watts. 400 bird. Okay. So, next step is we get out our 2-pill. Couldn't do it. It's screwing up my rhythm. I was having to set the camera all the way across the room. I was changing where I had to stand, and it's messing me up. Okay, so we got the bench 2-pill. All right. We got the mic gain turned way back on this 2-pill. And let's go over here. Put in a 1,000 watt position. Turn off the 1200. About 125 to 180 watts of drive, which is what you'd want to put into this thing for peak power. So we're laying it in the corner. Take and put that up to 2x. Check it out. So we're getting our 1200 watts peak. Let's go up and put this thing on sideband. Okay. Let's look at it on sideband here real quick. Getting our 1200 out of it on sideband. And let's look at our amp draw on sideband. There's a reason that I said I want to go a little bit bigger than 100 amp, maybe 150 amp breaker. Because you're working right at the potential of this breaker, which is going to make the breaker get hot, which will make it pop eventually. So, just saying, food for thought. Now, what we're going to do is I want to check the sideband delay on this real quick, which is this capacitor right here. Cool, nice and slow. Let's go back to AM. Let's turn the amplifier off. Let's go back down to 1x. Let's bump the mic gain up a little bit. 200 watts of drive. Go back over to 2x. So now what we're going to do is we're going to oversaturate the box and drive it a little bit harder. Perfect. Perfect. Well, I put the fan kit on it. I think I got to clean the fans, like knock them out and de-dust them and that kind of thing. So let me get the fan kit up on this thing running, and that's it, man. We're done. Just had to replace these two transistors, do the power wire upgrade, repair this, repair that, and modify this. So just that little bit of operation, amps up to 87 degrees. The hottest component in here is going to be the bias resistors at 250, and the heatsink heat is up to almost 80, and the ambient air in here is 73. Just love how much heatsink is underneath these things. That's the main reason I fell in love with these when I was a kid. The only thing they could have done that would have made it cooler is they could have rotated the boards and made the cabinet about that much longer, so they wouldn't have been saturating just this particular fin of heatsink with so much heat. But I've got a special place in my heart for these old school Sweet 16s and these old school 1200s like this. They're a solid staple amplifier, and they've been that way for 2 decades or better. The worst thing that ever happened is when they had to switch over and go to the DEI transistors. It's a shame. It's a shame. All right, let's put the fan kit on it. Let's get going here. And so before, we're putting about 180 watts of drive, 200 watts of drive in it. It's in the 1X position. It's from a standing dead key of about 200 watts. 1200 watts, pretty consistent. Like I said, as soon as the amp's on, fans come on. And it's really the safest way to run the thing. So, I don't know. This is what we're going to do. And brother, I tried to call you on the phone twice today, so I don't know. Hopefully I get to hear from you tomorrow. And if there's anything that you want me to change or modify after you view this video, please feel free to contact me. We've got all weekend. I can go in and change something on it Monday if need be. So, on that note, gentlemen, my name is BBI. Honestly, without a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. I don't know how much that counts for or how big of a deal that is, but I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out. www.bbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and of course right here on the YouTube Porg and Gargler. If you like the crazy antics that I do, click subscribe if this is the first time you're checking in. And guys, I gotta tell you, I had a couple of my fellow colleagues out there contact me and say, man, we've got this going on, we got that going on, how are you doing? And I'm like, brother, I'm so busy I can't even see straight. With Mother Nature taking a little bit of a dip and we not having Skip here for a little while, this is the opportunity that you guys get to be able to send me your equipment and be able to get it done. Oh, God. Dog, I almost forgot about it. So I found a new shipping company, a freight company that will work with us crazy CBers. If you've got yourself, like, let's look at that Wizard. The Wizard, we went to UPS, we broke it up into 6 pieces, and they proceeded to tell me to ship the Wizard home is going to be almost $600. And I said, no. It's a little $88.77. So we went out, and with my wife spending quite a bit of time looking at it, we found a company out there that is willing to work specifically with us CBers. They will come to your home. They will pick the amplifier up from your house. They will take it away. They will crate it, and they will bring it back over here to me for about less than an eighth of what UPS costs. Now, I want you to think about that. You don't have to worry about doing any of the packing. You don't have to worry about doing any of the logistics of trying to get it from your house to a place to ship it and to have it crated and to have it brought here. I have figured out a way, and I found a company that is willing to do all of that for us. So if you got an $88.77 or a $3,000 or even a $10,000, we priced it. We did some rough dimensions of getting a refrigerator that weighs about 300 pounds from Florida, Key West, Florida, to Boise, Idaho, was $280. And that's with them going and picking it up, them crating it, putting it on a pallet and bringing it to me. And that only takes 4 days. 4 days. So listen, I want to make the move and I want to start working on bigger and bigger shit. I've got the equipment to do it, and God knows I have the parts. It's always been a logistic issue of trying to get the equipment sent here. We've figured out a way to overcome that. So if you're interested in getting some of your bigger, heavier equipment repaired, contact me. We have the logistic capability to have it picked up from your home, brought directly to me. All you got to do is open it up and have the guys come in and come pick it up. Food for thought. We got that Wizard to be able to go home. The shipping on the Wizard went from $600 and something all the way down to $200 and something. Just like that. They're going to pick it up from my shop, and they're going to drop it off on that guy's front doorstep. It's a miracle. So if you're interested, come check us out. We'll help you out. Guys, I'm excited. There's a whole new horizon that's been opened to us now that shipping has actually become affordable. That has been my biggest restraint on working on bigger equipment. All you got to do is call me, tell me where you live, what it is, and how much it roughly weighs, and what its dimensional sizes are. I will set up a pickup. They will come grab it from you. They will bring it here to me, and we will repair the damn thing. And we'll just tack it all into the repair bill. Guys, I've got to go. It's Saturday night. It's actually Sunday morning at this point, believe it or not. It's now 12:10. I got to go get some other things into the iron, and then I've got to go crash. Got a busy day tomorrow. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll see ya. Bump, bump.